very much. I just wanted to say a goodbye from RadFem Collective as well. You know, I'm Ruth from RadFem Collective. I hope you've enjoyed and learned a lot over the last few days. I think we've had some amazing speakers, some very well-known radical feminists. Do you want me to stand up, sorry? Yes. You know, well-known radical feminists who spend their life talking about these issues. Women who have written PhD theses, MAs on issues that they've shared with us, and activists who write blogs, who post their thoughts on social media, and who've come here to talk about them. I haven't got this bit in the card, but I was going to say about RadFem Collective. You know, we've done a lot over the last few years. We had a little bit of a break. This is our third national conference, but we've done, oh gosh, I don't know, about 14, 15 talks in various places around the country. We've done sort of some activism around, you know, Brighton Feminist Society had a petition where they sent it to students' unions around the country, asking all the students there to sign up to say that those students would boycott any of our events. So in response, a group of us, and some of the women are here, went down to Brighton Pride with our RadFem Collective banner, slipped into the Pride March and walked along. And because we were the first ones to do it, everyone, you could see, some people weren't happy. For those who don't know, sorry, those who aren't in Britain, Brighton is the centre of sort of, you know, trans stuff, sex positivity. It's the absolute geographical centre. So you could see people weren't happy, but they kind of assumed that we were part of the official march. So we had afterwards emails from the organiser of the march saying, you know, who were you marching with? Who gave you permission? Which we just ignored. And we organised an event which was about trying to get women more active, where we had lots of different workshops about things that you can do, direct action, how to lobby, and we included things for women who are in isolated places where they don't have anybody else to work with, things you can do as an individual. And I also wanted to say about RadFem Collective, I hope this bit's okay, that I'm saying that to my lots of women have kind of helped today. You know, the women in the creche have been fabulous, they've done it all. You know, filming by Julia, Georgia, Sam, lots of other women, as you've seen, have helped out. But the actual RadFem Collective, and we don't tend to say this publicly, is 2 women. You know, and I'm telling you that really to kind of say that when it comes to activism, sometimes there can be an impression that, you know, you need masses of women to do things. You don't. You need a small number of women who will commit time and who will make things happen. It doesn't take masses of women. There are always lots of women who will do particular tasks, but often the kind of core group that keep things going is normally pretty small in most cases, and you don't need masses of women. Okay, getting back to this. I mean, the aim of this conference was hopefully to inspire you, both in activism, but also to bring radical feminist theory back and to highlight that. And we make no apologies for that this is about theory and that theory matters. And also that radical feminist theory, although we have academics, which is important, the actual springs, the beginnings of radical feminist theory has always traditionally, including things that are written up into theses and MAs, come from activism. Every single time is activism and consciousness raising, and that includes for the big speakers. Sheila Jeffries is an activist. You know, it doesn't come from people sitting down, reading books and writing. And the reason I say that is because, as well as being active, I want you all to go out and develop theory. You know, lots of you here are activists. Lots of you here will have insights that you might not even realise. And there's lots and lots of things still to write about. Lots of things. Don't think it's all done. It isn't. So I've jotted down just a few ideas of things that I can see need much more analysis and development. So for example, the role of social and economic class in influencing which women are having mastectomies and taking HRT, and which women are simply having asymmetrical haircuts, changing their names and identifying as non-binary. There is a big social and economic class influence in that, and we very rarely talk about it. Also, the increasing financial abuse of women and mothers in heterosexual relationships. It's a major issue. In the name of equality at the moment, there's a big push amongst heterosexual couples that you can see. And I'm talking about in sort of websites like Mumsnet or other sites where women are talking about their heterosexual relationships. There's a big push that in the name of equality, that women and men should contribute the same amount of money to their household expenses as the male partner. And you see women talking about saving up for their maternity leave because they won't be working and they still should be contributing the same amount of finances to the partnership. Whilst of course doing way more than 50% of the share of housework and childcare. Again, there needs to be much more written about that and much more analysis of it. Or, which I personally don't quite understand, the attraction of Corbyn and the role of Corbynistas, mainly to young women, including radical feminists. There's young radical feminists who were real kind of Corbynistas. Again, needs analysis. Or the rise of the male menopause. You know, as women have spoken out more and more about the menopause, and I know the second wave feminists did it, and then it kind of, you know, all get pushed underground. And again, women have been again speaking out about the menopause and perimenopause. But there's been a subsequent real push, and I see this because I'm of the age where that's happening, you know, to highlight the male menopause, supposedly. Yeah, thank you. And that has really minimised the female experience. Again, we need to be talking about that. So that's just some ideas for starters. I'm sure
some Viagra, it's free on the NHS.
I'm sure you've all got masses more of ideas. I was staying with some Brazilian women and we were chatting last night, which was really interesting, and they were talking about the push in Brazil that they're really pleased with, about the widening definition legally in terms of what's covered by rape. So now that's sort of any kind of genital contact is legally rape. Now I know that feminists, radical feminists here have a different viewpoint, and that's an interesting thing to explore from an international viewpoint. So you will have things that I haven't thought about. So I want you to basically go out and write your thoughts and help develop theory from your own activism. Write it in social media, share it, write blog posts. And remember, as part of that, the role of literature, short stories and plays have always played. You know, it's been really important, some of those sci-fi, looking at the future without men, imagining what our lives could be like, and also in making radical feminist theory and ideas accessible. I mean, we can see that in the Handmaidens, you know. So please do that. And maybe next year, you'll be a speaker at the conference. So please go home, talk, think and write. Thank you.